Hey everybody, Brian Good here with the blog updates here. Once again, still tied on storm talk, but there's nothing really to talk about when it comes to storms. By the way, hopefully the sound of the vacuum in the next room isn't too distracting. We've redesigned our master control, so hopefully you can't hear that. If it's distracting, I'm sorry. I'll try to talk a little bit louder. If you can hear me okay, then turn the volume down. All right, temperature-wise, outside, beautiful out there. It's getting warm. I mean, it's 71. It feels warmer than that, though. The wind's not that strong at the moment. That sun beats down on you. It's going to feel pretty good. It is another dry day. That's not exactly the best of news because, once again, parts of our area have now entered the moderate drought status. That includes Jasper, Paoli, Bedford, and right on the line there for Salem. And in the yellow zone is the dry, abnormally dry category, which is the very lowest end level of the drought situation. I really don't consider it a drought at stage yellow, not until you get into moderate drought. But again, we do have at least some areas in Indiana that are a little thirsty, and we need some rainfall. Unfortunately, our next chance of rain, which is going to take place in the next 24 hours, looks higher for Kentucky than it does for Indiana. I'll explain in a second. First off, here is proof of the dry weather from our visible satellite from up above. And you can see no clouds anywhere around wave country. But that changes as you head to the north. It is a cold front that is located at the moment right across the Great Lakes itself. And it is stretched all the way down through portions of Indiana and back into Missouri. Behind the cold front itself, that's where we have temperatures dropping off. International falls down to about 49, 56 in the Bismarck. But this is the one that's really going to drive in that chilly air as we head into the upcoming weekend. In fact, alerts are already going out for frost and freeze scenarios as we head into this weekend. Here are a few of the cross portions of the upper Midwest. For the Dakotas right now, they are currently listed into a freeze warning scenario once you head into the lighter blue area of frost advisory. And for Chicago, including down into Indiana, we have a freeze watch. And yeah, that does include those of you off to the north. Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon, you guys are in this freeze watch. Actually Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And will they extend this all the way down into Louisville? I'm pretty sure they're typing that up right now. So you will likely see that be issued here shortly. In the next hour, I would say, the alerts will go out. And it very well could be a freeze watch the way it's looking based on the latest numbers. So let's take it step by step. First off, let's talk about the front as it moves through tonight. Again, any rain chance with it looks higher across our southern counties. There's not a lot of moisture to work with. We've been talking about this for several days. But we'll keep that small chance of rain in the forecast late tonight and very early on Friday. Tomorrow, though, doesn't look bad. It is going to be a cool day. We have a northerly wind all day, and that, even though the sun will be out, it's going to be a battle between the sun and the cool flow from Canada, trying to balance each other out. Here in the city, we may get into about the 62 to 64 degree range, something like that here in the city, but a lot of you will average out very close to 60 for a high. Then we get into Saturday morning. Now, this is the RPM in-house model we have. It is treated colder for Louisville. Now, I got to keep in mind, it doesn't always capture that urban heat element effect very well for inside the Gene Snyder and especially inside the Waterson. So we will likely have numbers a little higher than this for the city that you will see on the 7-day for Saturday morning. But the numbers surrounding us, those 32s and 31s you see, yeah, that very well could be reality for Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, so stay cool. I don't think we're going to get out of the 50s anywhere here in wave country. Despite a sunny day, it's going to be chilly. And then this could be the coldest morning. And again, the model has trended colder for most of us. Got some 20s showing up, and especially in the valley areas. So this would be a light, if not in some cases. I mean, 27, you're getting into a hard freeze scenario. But this would mean the end of the growing season by Sunday morning for a lot of us. Now here in the city again, a little iffy if we'll get that cold. Probably won't. Probably stay just above the freezing mark. But this will be our coldest morning as we head into Sunday morning. All right, so we'll keep an eye on the alerts. Stay tuned for those coming out on social media as we later on this afternoon. All right, in the longer-term pattern, we get rid of this cool snap. It looks like it's going to move slower than expected to get out of here, so we may lower our numbers down slightly for Monday and then slowly ease us back into a warmer pattern next week. The situation is this area of low pressure developing in the Gulf of Mexico. Doesn't look tropical in nature at this point. We also have an area of low pressure across the Plain States. How much of an interaction these two are going to have is the big question mark for later next week and the next weekend. Because at this point, there's going to be a surge of heavy rain, especially with the tropical low into the Gulf. Now, there's a chance these two could still split off when we get the stretched out cold front scenario where the dry slot comes right through Kentucky. We've seen that a million times, it seems like. So there's a lot of debate on how this interaction is going to set up. but it will be wet and stormy when it does roll out. We just got to figure out how these two are going to evolve. Is it more of the front for us, or is it going to be the tropical low to our south, or is it going to be the combination of both? But I would say later next week and next weekend could be quite wet. And once it goes by, well, then, yeah, it's going to try to really drive in some cold air into the nation's heartland. And that is something we'll be watching as we head into the final days of October. And speaking of that, the indices trending that way as well. The Arctic Oscillation trending negative. That means the cold air is on the move. It's being dislodged here across Canada, and we're seeing signs of it dipping down. And in order to get it to stay for a while, you've got to get that NAO negative. And it is trending in the negative territory toward the end of October, which may slow the weather pattern down enough to get some of these cool shots to really settle into one area and sit there for a few days. And the question is, are they going to settle into the Ohio Valley, or is it going to be just to our west, or is it going to be the Northeast? And that's yet to be determined. All right, so it just looks active. That's the best way I can put it right now. We'll try to get down, narrow in on specifics once we get a little bit closer. But I do think the cold shots will be a little more dramatic later this month. But on the flip side, if you're ahead of them, the warm shots will be just as dramatic. All right, NOAA, by the way, did issue an update to their beginning of the winter outlook. This goes November through January, and they are trending below normal for the Texas Southern Plains, above normal for the west and northern tier. I will say, I know my winter forecast is not coming up to Halloween, but this is looking more and more like what I do have in mind. So I'll just give you a heads up of what it's looking like longer term. There's a sneak peek there from NOAA. And that's about all I'm going to say for right now. All right, guys, enjoy the nice weather today. We'll trend these cold temperatures this weekend. Stay safe. Check your furnace out. Check your fireplace. Make sure those are okay if you're going to use them this weekend. You know how that can go the first time you check them out. If you don't do it safely, it can be dangerous. And just try to stay warm. Find you a snuggle buddy. We'll see you today at 5.